Recording in progress. I love it. Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hello, and welcome back to Discontinued. Now, what?
That
Feeling
track.
sassy
They can
today.
download.
Feeling sassy.
We're so
Yeah,
sassy.
exactly. Downloadable now on Spotify.
Subscribe and you'll get more.
There you go. I love it. What is the saying? Subscribe, like, share, review, all the things, all that stuff.
Oh, like,
Goodness.
follow, share. What do I say? Like, follow, share, do the things. Something like follow, share, subscribe, do the things. Yeah, all that.
There you go. All that, and a bag of chips. Speaking
And
of
the
chips.
bag. Like the old bag of chips, not now where you only get a quarter bunch of chips in the bag. You know, there's a bunch of air in there. They're selling
There's a
us
lot of
air,
air.
people.
You know, but I'm not going to hate on the chip packagers because I understand why the air is there.
Tell me. Because I
You don't
yell
know-
every time.
You don't know why the air is there?
Well, some sort of freshness situation.
So that the chips don't crack and they don't crumble. So they have space to move around in the bag.
You know, that's really deep, actually. We don't need smothering in our lives. We will crumble.
Yes, we don't
We need our space, our
it
personal
is
space.
the world's life lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, we all need a little space to be fresh and crumble free.
So I got news for Forrest Gump. It's not like a box of chocolates. It's like a bag of chips.
Like a bag of chips. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our podcast.
You heard it here. Life is like a bag of chips, people.
Like a bag of chips. I love a chip. I do love a chip. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of obsessed. And I heard allegedly, and I'm going to say this allegedly because I don't know the whole science of it, but allegedly this is what I heard, that humans are attracted to the crunch situation, and the crunch is addicting. So chewing ice, crunching on chips, anything that's crunchy, like, you know, the whole, you know, Lay's potato chips, their little saying, I'm not going to say it because they're not paying me. Little saying,
Right?
whatever, like that's why you keep on doing it. You keep on eating the chips because it's the
Yeah.
crunch, the mechanism of the crunching situation and the sound. I don't know.
It
the
makes sense
vibrations.
because, you know, Sawyer just keeps eating seeds and rocks and everything. He just crunches on them all the time. I'm like, why? You have food, you have bones. Why must you do that? So maybe it is some sort of primal need.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure at
Between-
all.
The different species share. I don't know, but I did not know. Yeah, see, I've learned two things now already. We've just gotten here.
Look at that. You're welcome. And I just thought about it because it makes sense now. Because, you know, like a crumbled, like a bag of chips that has no air is more likely to crumble in the cabinet when you store it next to something, and if something rubs it and it crunches the chip.
Right.
We need space. We all need space, ladies
We
and
need
gentlemen.
space.
We all need space.
So now I'm blaming the distributors for being rough with it. So they have to put more air in and less chips. You hear me, people. You hear me. But it also makes sense because, like, I'll do this taco salad thing and I use Fritos on top. It's really weird. And I put taco meat on a salad and then ranch. I know it's really weird, but I crumble them. And when I crumble them, it's very exciting. So there you have it.
There you
All
go.
right. I'm at peace
That's how
with
we
this
do.
now.
You're good
Next.
now? You feel good?
Feeling good. I want to crumble something.
So
Oh,
the
there's-
one thing that I wanted to kind of touch on today was, you know, before we hopped on, because we've been chatting, Jamie and I for quite a bit about, you know, just life, because we didn't get to
Yeah.
circle around last week, but just kind of talking about, you know, you were saying past life regressions or progressions?
Regression, because we're going back.
Regressions. Okay. Past life regressions.
Or a progression in life.
Or a progression. Yeah. Because I was wondering, I was like, do you say regression? Do you say progression? Are you progressing forward because you're going back? I don't know how the situation is. But also this, I think, would be a good tie-in with standards. So I was listening, of course, to another podcast, my favorites. You know, and he was the gentleman, his name is Ed Milet, and I talked about him before. he was talking about standards and how we are basically, we grow up with certain kinds of standards that our parents put on us, that, society, teachers, whatever the case may be, kind of puts on us. And until we get to a certain point in life, and I don't know if it's, maybe this is me, but this is my hypothesis. Again, don't hit the messenger. But my thought is this: I think we still go through those standards, or we still kind of keep those standards in place. I think until something really crazy, or just not disturbing, but something shakes us up enough to kind of change our way of thinking. And then we're like, well, I don't know if I want to keep doing life this way, or keep doing this way, or work, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know if, am I kind of wrong on this? I mean, I don't want to hear a yes, but, or a no, but I'm just like thinking, I go, maybe that's why some people, because they've, quote unquote, knock on wood, they've never had anything kind of shake them up enough to be like, oh shit, let me rethink this.
Yeah. I think in my perspective, it could be two things. It could one way, and this is something I noticed when I went to college. I started expanding and reading a lot of philosophy, and I took different psychology courses, philosophy, and ethics courses. And that additional information caused me to question. But also, there is the more common one when people have a certain way that they're being, and something disrupts that and shakes it up, and then they end up questioning. Why? And sometimes we get lost. We're programmed in growing up in certain things, and we forget and get so out of touch with who we could be, and our potential, and even our happiness and joy, that it takes a moment of like a crashing moment, or what we call a phoenix year sometimes, of where just everything is just, you're disenchanted with it all. Somewhere along the way, you got off track, and standards and what you thought are not what they are. It was an illusion that you were taught sometimes.
And exactly the stuff that we're taught is, and I'm not blaming the parents or the teachers or anything like that, but I think it's what, like I always say, you don't know what you don't know, right? So what you pass along. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, shit. You know what I mean? But I think I think it's imperative for us to kind of figure out, not really figure out, but kind of maybe feel whatever is going to be right for us. You know what I mean? Because, and I think, and I was talking to somebody else about this earlier this week. I said, it's just so interesting to me that all of a sudden, and maybe this has been happening, I'm just noticing it now. All of a sudden, everyone is talking about how they feel about certain things, what they actually want to do with their lives, tapping into certain things that they weren't tapping into before, and actually like expanding on that, whether it's spirituality, whether it's, learning about crystals, whether it's about, doing past life regression, and kind of figuring out or human design, like figuring out their, I guess, background, and kind of for lack of a better term, and I don't want to say baggage, but, the stuff that we carry with ourselves from the moms, the dads, the grandmas, the grandpas, and all that stuff, like that familial stuff.
Past life.
Yeah. And even past
karmic
lives.
stuff.
Yes. Thank you. The karmic stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to tap into that stuff now, which I think is super cool. But I'm wondering, like, what's the skinny? Like, what's the deal? Why now? Is it like
it's more acceptable
thing? Okay.
You're not looked at cross-eyed. 20 years ago, it'd be a little different story. I mean, heck, even a decade, even 10 years ago, it was different. I still kind of really hid and didn't put on social media like I put inspirational quotes out,
Yeah.
but
for
I
sure.
was not going to go down the road of tarot or oracle or healing or anything. I wasn't not comfortable. I figured I would lose work potentials. I would lose, longtime family friends, all of that, because it was not like in Vogue magazine or anything at the time.
Now it is. Like
Yes,
literally,
now
like
it's in every store. I mean, convenience stores. Well, they've always kind of had incense and stuff.
yeah.
But there's all kinds of, I went to the mall the other day. After the funeral, we kind of just wandered around and went to the mall. I hadn't been in this mall for ages. And
Mhm.
they were even in the standard clothing stores, there was all the namaste and the meditation and the stuff. So it has become mainstream. So it's easier for you to kind of out your thoughts, if you will.
For sure.
I think, my perspective.
Yeah, no, and it truly is, because I think it was even Good Morning America. I was Googling something about astrology, and I literally put in, I just put in the word astrology, and I think something came up on Good Morning America. There was a lady, an astrologist, that she was on there. And, of course, there was people that are like, what does that even mean? Why do people do that? Kind of questioning it and kind of not being very nice about it, which I kind of noticed. I was like, ew, Al Roker, I don't like that.
Right? Ew, God.
But you know what I mean? But I get that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as I was, not that I was that way as well, because I've always been into like sun, moon, and stars, like that whole thing. Like, I thought that was always the coolest.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, not so much, but for other people who, again, don't understand it, because we don't know what we don't know, who don't understand that, maybe in a sense, kind of fear it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, because I remember when I told you about, even my family members who are like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, this is working for me, and it's making me more aware of certain situations and things that I probably wasn't going to be aware of if I went somewhere else or did something else or didn't do anything at all. But being able to talk about certain things that are very difficult to talk about, and having an open kind of platform and a safe space to do so.
Yeah.
I think it's super important. It's super important, even if it's not like spirituality or crystals or whatever the case may be. But I think as a general perspective and a general consensus, to have that open space, because the way that you grew up, that I grew up, that even my sister grew up, even when we're in the same family, everybody grew up a certain way, in a different way, even if it's from the same, familial tribe or whatever.
Because we see and receive
have,
things differently as unique
yes,
beings.
for sure.
Could be the same situation and two people perceive it completely differently
Mhm.
based on where they're coming from and any wounds or any misperceptions they have.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And I think that, many times with all of these things, we're working against both historical and cultural programming that does not serve us anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no matter what aspect we're looking at, whether it's politics or spirituality or just human rights in general,
Mhm.
there's old programming there that I feel could be rewritten in a more loving way, an open
100%.
way, and supported, with the spiritual. I mean, if you, again, my perspective, if you're not harming anyone and you are actually growing and healing and becoming a better human, why wouldn't you, say,
Yeah.
go for it, sis, do the thing. You are
Mhm.
happy and you're happier than I am. So go for it, man.
Yeah.
And you're doing nice things. You're volunteering. Everybody, you got a new friend group. These are all positive things that we forget. We get so stuck on the source of where that particular thing is so foreign and it's coming from.
Mhm.
We forget that the end result is what everyone's working on anyways,
Yeah.
but they kind of get locked in sometimes in culturally in, stuff like that, in familial kind of programming, trying to say it really nicely, that, assume that you are going to follow the old ways and the old thought processes and stuff like that, because they feel it's safe. It's something that's been passed down generations.
Tried and true.
How we believe. Yep.
It's
And this
tried
is
and true,
even though,
for sure.
yeah, the whole entire world's changing, by the way, but no, you know. So yeah, that's what I say about that. I forget. I just kind of got a little.
No, but it's true. And like, and I love that you say that, because a lot of people, like, I mean, you know, myself included, when I first started this, I was very fearful of, you know, we were talking about this earlier, you know, sometimes we get a little fearful of like, okay, if I do this next step, if I do this, like, how am I going to be able to handle it? It's that, if this is a word, uncomfortability or
Discomfort.
the discomfort. Thank you.
I simplify things. That's my job, peeps.
Thank you so much. Yes. I'm like, you know, the discomfort of the unknown. And that is 100%. I'm even still in this right now. Is, okay, shit, do I really want to do this? Do I want to get into this? Do I want to, you know, level up? Like, you, of course, everybody is like hearing it. Yeah, level up. You've been amazing, whatever, blah, blah. Like that push, that cheerleading squad, which is fucking awesome. But it's like, okay, there's a different responsibility at this level.
Yep.
And I
Are you ready for it?
Yes, that is.
And to claim it when it's challenged.
Yes.
Do you heartfully believe in where you are right now and what you're doing? And that being said, not dogmatic about it, though. Still open, as I say, to chew on other perspectives and stuff and kind of let them mull over to maybe expand even further. I'm solid with what I know and I'm open to more. But this, what I know and believe right now, has really proven to me in my heart and my intuition that it feels right and it feels good.
Mhm.
So you can't shake that. And that's can be hard sometimes to get to that point because, you know, depending on how many external influences are kind of banging on you about it or making you feel weird or something like that. I know when we go back to like the cultural and the programming, I look back now and I wish my mom was here so that I could talk to her more about this, because I was not where I am when she passed. Yeah. I was just dabbling into like Buddhism and stuff. We grew up Roman Catholic, so my mom grew up that way. And spiritual, this type of stuff was not supported back in the day. It's much more open now, you know, in that world. It's getting there. I am, I'm plus now, though. I do all these other things. But the point is she was not supported, and so she turned to different things to kind of numb the stuff, because it was seen as she was crazy, that she had prophetic dreams, or she, you know, had the sage out with the angels and was, you know, praying to angels, and oh, that was bad, and, you know, totally not supported. So she went, you know, downhill with that. She was very, I believe, clairsentient. Now that looking back on memories, and I always called her over emotional and stuff, because I didn't understand either until I did. Right. And it was a little late for that, but we still communicate. But that being programming and not supported, and her trying to, you know, she was gifted, you know, but it was just kind of tossed down the drain sort of thing, due to cultural and religious and different things like that. They were just not supporting him for changing, you know. Correct.
Yeah, for sure. And I think probably also she probably didn't have somebody else to kind of like, hey, see you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was very hard.
That fear of like, okay, if I tell you anything, you might think I'm, like you were saying, you might think I'm crazy. You might, you know, turn against me or whatever the case may be. Like, and it having that comfortable rapport with somebody and talking about what she's seeing, what she's feeling, and all that stuff. And that's hard. It's hard. I mean, because there's a lot of people like that now. Like, you know, like I still don't, you know how I am. I still don't, like, not so much, how do I say this politely? Not that I don't believe that I have things that I have, gifts that I have.
You haven't claimed them.
I have not claimed them. 100% I have not. I know they're there, and they show me that they're there. 100% they show me.
They're like, is she gonna? No, not today.
Yeah, they're like,
right,
nope.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay, Steph. Okay, maybe tomorrow, Steph. Like,
all
come
right.
on, lady.
Tomorrow's a new day. We'll start again.
You know, my theory is this, ladies and gentlemen: slow and steady wins the race.
Oh boy.
right. I mean, you know, give me a minute, people. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot
It
of
is.
information. It's a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I'm trying to kind of, how you time block your work. Try to time block this as well. Trying to figure out, all right, like I'm not ready.
I'm blocking her magic. You heard it here,
Um,
folks. It's a new
that a
calendar
thing?
coming out
The new
next year.
calendar, 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Magical
But-
time blocks.
Magical time blocks. Could that be a thing? Or is that not a thing?
Magic doesn't work in our timeline. We do try to force it to be that way.
Come on, you know that I'm like an A personality. You know
Yes.
how it is. I try really hard, guys. I'm really working on that. But obviously it sneaks up back on me. So there's that.
It's all good. It's they have a good the folks you're working with upstairs have a good personality. They
They
patient.
know what they're working with. Exactly.
They're like, okay, all right, we're good. Tomorrow's another day. We got this.
Tomorrow's
We're
another
gonna check
day.
it out tomorrow, see if it's time. If not, we'll try again the next day. Rinse and repeat. But when we talk about also with the Vogue thing and it being in more mainstream, for my mother, it wasn't. I
Right.
remember she would have some, and I say this in air quotes, weird friends at the time that were maybe into more, witchcraft and earth magic and stuff. It was very hard to find like-minded people. We're happy if you found someone who did spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
You took what you got and you'd find shops around and try. Now it's much easier to actually get people that really vibe with your philosophies and how you roll with it.
For sure.
And I've even mentioned to you some of the additional guests you've had on the show here. And I'm like, we could totally hang with that one.
Yeah.
Their vibe is right. I like
Yeah.
everything they're saying. Yes, we need to have a coffee time with them.
And what's hilarious is like, I don't really reach out for like, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. There's some people that I have, and we're still kind of waiting and stuff. But the universe is
That's
like,
the best
okay,
kind.
This one will be good for you. This one will be good for you. I'm like, all right, let's rock and roll. Let's do it. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but that's how we roll anyway. We just start talking and things start flowing.
Yeah, you just basically put out an intention to the universe, asking the universe to align you automatically with like-minded people. Oh yeah.
Hashtag automagically. Excuse me. I'm writing that down. Like it. I love it. Mhm.
To align you with those of like mind that you can, share each other's story and reach more people that would receive something from that, would enjoy that. So you kind of set the terms with the universe. And I 100% believe this works. I've seen it work with me. I've seen it work with others. It is a thing if you are in right alignment with that sort of thing. And your intentions are not ego driven and they're just pure,
Yeah.
Align me with, like-minded that can serve and we can share a story. I know I have some clients that listen to DCNW. I was talking about earlier, or
I thought you meant in general. I was like, am I one of them?
No. And they enjoyed the show. What was the one? Oh, the wonderful response we got from Jessa the other day.
Oh my gosh, that was so dope.
We'll have to
that
put
was
that
so
out.
dope. Yeah, we're gonna put it out 100%.
You said totally go ahead, use it, use your name, whatever. But yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. It was something we talked about in the show, and I'm sure we'll put it on our socials, a little quote so everyone can see. But something we talked about that really resonated with her and made her kind of shine a light on her life and things like that.
We're talking about the word just.
Yes, just.
Yeah, just.
And minimizing.
The minimizing of it. Correct. Because I didn't know that either. Like I was, again, listening to another podcast. And this lady was like, we do this to ourselves all the time. And we have to kind of learn, like we always, chat about like how we speak to ourselves and the words that we use. And then staying out, I'm just, like for her example, I'm just a phlebotomist. I'm just I'm just X. It doesn't matter what I am. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a this or I'm not a that. this bigger kind of, how do you say?
Perceived bigger.
Excuse me, yes, perceived bigger role, because rolling back to the word of the standards that are out there in medical community, whatever community, every, like my sister said, and I even sent it to her because she does ultrasound, and she goes, every medical professional is important. I was like, fuck yeah, they are. Because if one's not going to do this, somebody else has got to take the reign. It's like how do you say that running thing with the thingy?
Pass the baton.
Eso, that.
Yep. Speaking of, I've made it a personal project because I don't have enough, that I'm going to revive my Spanish. I'm going to try to bring it back and see if and so I'm going to be leaning on you because I feel like, what'd you say?
Muy bien.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't hear you actually. Okay. Yay.
Yes.
All right. So yeah. It was at one point they said I was conversational. That was in college, and that was moons ago, folks.
We'll go slow. We'll bring all the peoples they want to listen to our Spanish. Maybe we'll start off a podcast in Espanol.
Yeah, we'll have a little something happening there. It may just be hello to start, but there's something. Me llamo es Jenny.
Me llamo.
Or Jaime. Yeah, I know. Jaime. I had a problem with that, and we all know why, and we don't have to talk about it. It sounds like in English. I'm like, just call me Bob. That's
just
better.
Call me Bob.
Just call
Roberto.
Me Bob. Yes. But I had my Spanish teacher in college. He was also the soccer coach. And he was adorable fella and so full of energy and always so excited. So it was fun to go to class. And so he would actually come with his little daughter to my soccer, because I played college softball, to my softball games. I'm like, hi, Mr. So-and-so.
Oh, I love it.
So that was a fun time. At the end.
Nice.
Now I'm old. Okay. Flash forward.
We don't like to say old. We don't like to say old. We like to say
vintage.
What do you say? Distinguished.
My streak. My wisdom streak. Oh gosh. Here we go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen Jamie's streak
there
on
it
his
is.
head, I freaking love it. Like, that is the coolest. That is the coolest.
I swear.
You're like a wizard.
It got, yes, a wizard. I like to joke and say I got it with the lightning strike.
Hell yeah. See?
Because that was the year it really became prominent. It was either that or the people around me, but they all say, no, blame it on the lightning strike.
Oh,
we didn't stress you out. No, but I do like it. And I'm getting silver over here too, but I shave it. But I've I got a little salt and pepper situation happening here.
It's all right. We love salt and pepper.
It's wisdom.
Because you're seasoned. Salt and pepper because you're seasoned.
I'm spicy is what I am. Yes, but we digress into.
But no, but that's what when we're talking about the word just and the minimizing and stuff.
Yes.
And like and basically the like saying, like we were talking about earlier, is the standard or the perceived standards that we have for different industries, different jobs, different areas of our life. Like it's not that. It really is not that.
No. And especially how things are changing in society, and maybe not so much in the medical field, but in the classic office atmosphere. I mean, we are working from home now. We are some of us serial entrepreneurs, always starting new things, having a dream, starting them, even if they're small. They don't have to make $1 million. They can be, moonlighting. There's so many different things that allow you to express, and there are needs for them. And just things just aren't as they were before. No, and there's,
no. And I love that you say that, because I think that's something that we're all kind of not struggling with, but I think we're all kind of like, the light is being shined, like, okay, we have the capability and the opportunity to do whatever it is and, make a living out of it and have a successful living of whatever it is, whatever success means to you, you know what I mean? And I think especially kind of, shining the light back on myself, sometimes it's difficult for me to really kind of grasp onto that and own that. You know what I mean? Because it's, 'cause I'm used to the whole, having this and doing this only, but I know that I'm capable of doing a lot of other things, multiple of things, and being successful at them, if I can speak today. But, like just organizing myself in a better way to be able to do everything I want to do and doing it, in a good way, in a successful way, and being good at it.
The way that feeds your soul. I mean, success used to mean a giant house, a boat, and a car. To me now it means lifestyle design.
Yeah.
I have the ability to be creative
Mhm.
and design my lifestyle as I need it. Therefore, I create hours, and it's not to fluff off. It is
Yeah.
to be able to have more work-life balance, because guys, I don't know if you noticed, but people get real sick these days. And it's the buildup,
Yeah.
work for the most part, office work, as I understand it, back in our great grandparents' day, if you were working office stuff, I mean, like you came home at 5, you had dinner, you do, some of the stuff now, that's a 24-hour situation. Your body never gets to stop pumping the chemicals and relax. So therefore you find something like meditation or something to offset. And it's just, you're trying to balance, or possibly chemicals or things you put in your body to offset and do that. But, it doesn't stick forever because you're not actually making the changes. So there's just so much, it's such a huge topic on the balance and lifestyle and standards and rewriting the standards, so to speak.
For sure.
And when we talk about manifesting, I think that that's where it even becomes more of mainstream, because we're looking at entrepreneurs, right? And they're designing how they're going to work and stuff, and they have the ability and they realize they have control over that. And so naturally they kind of fall into manifesting. Like that's appealing to them because now we can align with the energy of what we want in our business, the type of clients. Going that far, I think, from what I heard from my family, that back in the day, you couldn't put out there to the universe, well, I only want clients that are nice or this or that. It was just like, you get what you get and you're happy about it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's important to do that, and I think I for sure am slowly kind of tweaking of how I ask for things. And I'm not one to ask people. I don't know if you have known this or don't know this, but the people that hear me speak, I'm not one to ask for help for anything.
It's a growth point.
It is so difficult.
Same, but I'm getting better. But
we're getting better slowly but surely. Like I always say, what is it? Slow and steady wins the race. But it's acknowledging the fact that you are this person. You don't always have to be this person, but you were used to being this person. Typically people like me are the fixers and all that stuff, that we don't ask for help. We get it done. We make it happen. And that's it. End of story. We don't want to hear about it. But, it's taxing. It's taxing physically, mentally, emotionally, of being the fixer or being the one that everybody goes to, you know what I mean? And it's
feeling
nice.
such a heavy responsibility over, and it's not, the reality is, if we unpack it, it's not all our responsibility. We made it that, or we decided to pick up that baton and take it and say, I'll be responsible. And for any number of reasons, sometimes it comes from past traumas. Sometimes it comes from, I want to get a raise, so I'm going to do all this extra. And if it feels right, here's my thing to look at, guys. I'm not going to say caveat, but if it feels good, then this is okay. And I know it sounds like I'm wishy-washy, but if it doesn't feel good, then it's not okay. So if you do decide to pick up extra work and you have the time and it doesn't feel like stress, do that thing for that, But if it is over, and knowing our limits and our boundaries, this reminds me of when I was in my mid-20s, working in network admin at an international company. And I was of course, the only one, I was doing basically 3 departments work in one. I was the security, I was the tech repair, and I was a network administrator, connecting and handling all the servers. So basically anything that wasn't computer programming, from down to replacing a mouse, I had to do in this company. So I'm running around, but I am excited because I am 25 and I can do it all. And I
go getter in us. Yeah.
And I absolutely love computers and how they work. And like from the get-go, they just always have worked for me since I was a little kid. Like I never have a problem understanding them and fixing them. Yeah. Now I kind of think I know why. I have some help. But at the time, I'm just like, I sneeze and it starts working if I'm in the room. Sort of thing. They would get so mad. Oh my, they're like, God, it's all day. It's not done that. It's like going to a mechanic, right? And your car doesn't act up at the mechanic.
Of course, yeah.
So I end up, long story short, I was playing what I was considering, what was that? Ultimate tennis, where we don't really follow the tennis rules. It's almost like that ultimate football, where as long as you can get to it, you hit it. The thing. Yeah. So I was back, I was a little spunkier then, straight out of softball. And so I went to do that, rolled my ankle, got a 3rd-degree sprain. They carried me off and went to emergency room. So I get this air cast. We're getting back to the story, guys. Trust me. I get to work. I'm sitting there with my crutch in a rolly desk chair, going from thing to thing, and it happened to be, this happened on a Wednesday, that Friday night we were supposed to do a complete server, actual across the board upgrade for the OS. So guess what? So I'm there, it's 9:00 at night. I'm rolling around. I'm looking, my toes are purple, but I'm like, I have to do this. There's no one else to do this. I have to do this. Right. So Saturday I get in, my foot just looks frightening. And so I just keep it elevated all Saturday. But I literally turned my feet blue because I didn't basically stand up and say, I've just really injured myself. I don't even have a wheelchair in here. I'm going through 60 something PCs and then into the server room, like till 9:00 at night. Cause here I am kind of like I'm canoeing, right?
Holy
across
moly.
the levels of the offices. Nowadays I'd be like, you need to find someone else for that.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I know my limits now and I'm not driven externally anymore. And my God, if I'd done that now, I'd probably lose a damn leg. I don't know. I was still pretty healthy then,
it's learning our boundaries. I think, it's it's the same thing with myself, when I my bad. I posted something on I need a guest, and literally like the floodgates opened, like everything was booked for the next 4 or 5 weeks. And I think that's probably why I got sick, because I got so nervous that I felt like I had to do all of that. And I'm like, whoa, Steph. You gotta take it down, get it a minute, look at everybody's stuff, see the people that you need to push back because of time or whatever, because this is not your only thing that you're doing today or this week or this month or whatever. Focus on who you want to, bring in now, and then push them back. You got to push them back.
They will still get the message through. It's just managing timelines so that you don't get sick or, falter in a way of which later on you're kind of beating yourself up about, you know?
Correct.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You're not saying no to them necessarily. It's just based on a planning thing. Yeah. And like, it's okay to do that, guys. And I'm also saying this again, because up until the last couple of years, I wasn't on board totally with that. I still tried to force everything in and do the thing because I was all push, competitive, growing up in a way where you get the A's and, all the things. And you'll sleep later. There's time to sleep later. Get the job done now.
That was my thing for a long time. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I can do it all now. I can take care of it now.
have that magnet still on the fridge. I need to take it down. I should show you. It has a coffee pot next to it or something. Yeah. But that was my thing.
Yeah, I think that was all of our things. I mean, I think everyone who's been, in a position like that, like, I got this. I can do one more. I can take one more client. I can do this. I can do that. But at the end of the day, I think as we slowly kind of, how do you say? I don't want to say get older.
Mature.
As we slowly mature, thank you so much.
I'm with the words, baby.
As we slowly mature, we kind of realize, shit today. This is not my vibe right now. This is thinking about it is exhausting. So just imagine if I have to do the X, the Y, the Z. Like, you're not going to put your whole heart into it. You're not going to put any good energy into it. So why do it?
You said it, the 3-letter word, you're wise. They sneak up on you everywhere. You sit there and go, why am I feeling such immense obsession and pressure why? Where's this coming from? Is there actually really pressure there to do it? Or is it me and my wanting to look,
the standard,
perform, speed, that sort of external. Why?
Yeah.
Because, and I do this regularly, and I am reminded by others regularly, is it necessary right now?
Mhm.
Or are you just so obsessed with doing that sort of thing? And it could just be cleaning the house. No, it's like 12, but I wanted to get that done.
Oh, yeah.
So do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
But
I have somebody in my life, and I love her. God bless her soul. She came to visit me, my Aunt Rosie. I love her. She's a pain in my butt, but I mean, I know she means well.
Mhm.
But I heard it when she was here. And I said, I go, because we were in the house and I was, doing some stuff in the house. So I was kind of in and out. I said, I go, we'll go out. I want to show you around, blah, blah, blah. And I noticed it when she was washing dishes, like she was constantly washing dishes because everybody was eating at different times. Everyone was, I'm working from home, Wayne's working from home. My brother-in-law was here, like painting furniture and stuff like that. And I was like, I go, Rosie, go outside, have a cup of tea, go enjoy the nature, go
It's
relax.
like nervous energy, the washing. That's what I do.
Exactly. Nervous energy. Because that's what she said. She goes, I get anxiety if I'm not doing something. And I
that
said,
is a very big thing to work
breakthrough. On. Yes, but she's never said that before.
Oh,
so for me,
yes,
I was like, oh, I was in shock, and I was happy, and I was like, okay, well, let's talk about that. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, okay, I'll put everything on pause. Like, let's talk about that. Like, why do you think you feel that way? She's like, I don't know, because I've always had to do stuff, and I've always had to, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I literally, like, and I keep saying this because I was literally, guys, like, I was dumbfounded and awestruck that it finally came out of her mouth. And I was so proud of her for that. I was like, oh my gosh, she has to come visit me more. It's the trees.
It's the trees.
They
do magic.
The trees are helping her.
We love a tree. And look at you at the place you are right now in your healing, to where you were able to pause with her for that moment and have her express it more. That's just a beautiful thing too, by the way.
Oh,
yeah. Look at you helping other people, taking the time to hear their words, their deep vulnerabilities.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me, for sure. And I and I think I have this even more so respect for her for like it coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, I get why you are the way that you are.
Yeah.
So,
and these little bits, I mean, it completely at times can change our perception in a great way, because we're now seeing the reasoning and the root, and possibly even, the unhealed parts it comes from. So we don't take it as personal or as irritating. We're seeing a part of them that's vulnerable, and possibly even reaching out to help them kind of alleviate that a little bit, maybe. But just seeing it can change an entire dynamic of a relationship. And instead of going, God, would you sit down? God, you're understanding. You might approach and say, hey, why don't you relax? Everything's good. Like, instead of or something like that.
Yeah. Instead of like
These
barking
things
or
matter
whatever.
too.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
with relationships and keeping them healthy and good and growing, whether it's family or friends. Even, I mean, guys, this applies to everybody,
Yeah.
neighbors, whatever, all the same. You know, if you take that time, and I'm not saying being a doormat or anything, or taking any negativity or anything like that, but just actually seeing people. And I think this goes to, and I think I've mentioned it to you before, I'm a big fan of speaking to the pain in a person instead of replying to their possibly nasty words.
Mhm.
If you can tap into the true reason as to why they're saying it, and sometimes it's completely different than the words that are coming out of their mouth.
Oh,
If you
yeah,
can
for sure.
speak to the pain, healing begins and understanding begins. But it takes a big person to do that. You got to be healed a little bit, because a lot of people just want to snap back as
Because
another
yeah,
nasty.
you're gonna be nasty. You're gonna attack.
You're like,
nasty
oh
with
no, you
nasty.
didn't. Oh,
You know?
hell no.
But we're a little more grown than that, nowadays.
We grown.
We do snap back, but we do it classy.
Classy snaps. Classy snaps. Yeah.
Yeah, we're learning, people, slowly but surely. I'm learning, I'm trying. And I think we're so far so good. Sometimes you
for
just
sure.
gotta shine the light on yourself, and it happens. So slow.
Yeah.
Healing is slow and I've been
Steady,
saying
like
this
the tortoise and the hare.
sure.
Yeah, that is
There we
the
go.
quote for today, or the moral of this story.
Slow and steady.
So yeah,
love it.
guys out there, take a look at your whys right now. And we may even talk next week, because I have this whole thing that I've been listening to about whys and deeper stuff and the root of actions and stuff like that. But for today,
I love it.
take a look at your whys and take a look at the ways you might have been just following old programming code, and does it serve you? Do you feel good?
The computer lady in you.
I do.
Code.
You need to change that software. It's out.
Yes,
It's Y2K
honey.
stuff. Nah. Change that software.
Change that software.
Yep.
Get
That's
the
why I say-
motherboard in check.
Yes. Stop overclocking.
There you
Yes.
go.
Oh, I could get really geeky. You should end it. We should. Yeah. Oh God. People are
Fucking love you.
/PC repair podcast.
/ I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good talk.
Yes. Thank
That
you
was
for having
good.
me again.
That felt good. Hell yeah. That's it, honey. You're in it to win it.
In it to win it. And I will
Yeah.
mention a little
Mhm.
bit. I know we're going to mention as well. If you like this podcast, subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from, and message us, because we'd like to answer some more questions.
Yes, messages on Spotify. Spotify.com. Mira, toma. There you go.
Was the word look in there somewhere? God, I really need to get a book or something.
I
gotta be ready for next Wednesday.
In Espanol.
Oh, so there was
.com.
no un poco what?
No, punto is point or dot. Punto.
Oh yes, like Punta Gorda, the big point.
Something like that.
Okay.
And soon. I love you, everybody. We love you. Thank you for following us, for listening to us. Again, follow us on Spotify. Leave us a voicemail on Spotify, because that's the only way we will be able to get those. Tell us a story. Give us a question. Send us a review. We love you. And until next time.
Till next time.
Later.
Bye.